Chat. I am your host, Nizzy. And in this video, you guys, we're going to be breaking down our NFL Week 2 game picks heading into the second week of the season here. Had a bit of a rough start last week, you guys. A little bit of an up and down result. We ended up finishing with 8 wins and 7 losses in the Week 1 game picks. You can go ahead and check that video out on my channel. Right real quick before we go ahead and get into this one, you guys, if you can go ahead and like this video. If you like sporting content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Been getting a lot of support on the channel lately, you guys, and it means a lot to me, man. We're going to keep coming out with as many videos as possible. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start breaking down our game picks for the second week of the NFL season here, you guys. We're going to start out with all the early game time slots here. We'll go ahead and start out with Denver and Jacksonville. Now, I expect Broncos to handle this one pretty easily. Obviously, they had a very stout performance against the Giants in Week 1. Jacksonville had a really rough go against the Houston Texans. They're looking like an absolute mess right now. Trevor Lawrence with 3 interceptions in Week 1 performance there. The Denver defense is definitely a lot better than the Texans defense, so I think it's going to be even a rougher day for Lawrence. Maybe not the 3 interceptions, but I just don't think they're going to be able to move the ball that easily. I expect Denver to be able to take another victory here in Week 2 at a score of 31-17. Then heading over to Buffalo and Miami, you guys. I expect the Bills to have a big bounce back game here this week. Obviously, they had a tough loss against the Steelers in Week 1 there. And Miami was able to pull out the close victory over the Patriots. I think Buffalo's going to have a huge bounce back game here. I think Josh Allen's going to light it up on the secondary of the Miami Dolphins there. I don't think they're going to have a lot of answers for him this week, and I don't think Tua's going to be able to produce enough points on offense to keep them in the game. I just think that Buffalo defense is going to be too stout to go along with the hunger of that Bills offense just wanting to rebound after a bad week last week. So I got Buffalo taking that one by a score of 28-14, you guys. And then heading over to Houston versus Cleveland here. Same thing for the Browns. I think they're going to have a huge bounce back game here, you guys. Heading into the second week, I think they'll be able to win this one handily. Obviously, Houston had a nice win against Jacksonville there. Surprised a lot of people. Tyrod Taylor had a nice performance for them. They do have, a lot of quality veterans on that Texans team, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to be able to take down Cleveland. Cleveland's one of the better teams in the league. It's not like they lost to a bad team last week either in the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost to one of the best teams in the league and kept it close throughout the entirety of the game. So I think they're going to win this one pretty handily by a score of 34-21 for the Browns. Then heading over to Cincinnati and Chicago, you guys. Now, I think Chicago's going to have a bit of a bounce-back game this week. Obviously, they started off rough against the Rams in Week 1 there on Sunday Night Football. Not an easy matchup for the start of the season for them with a new quarterback. And obviously not the best of offensive lines for the Chicago Bears either. But Cincinnati, I think, now that they're heading on the road, they had a nice win against the Vikings in overtime last week, but they're heading on the road now to play the Bears in their home stadium. I don't think they're going to have enough to be able to come out with the victory. I think it will be a close game. So I got the Bears winning this one by a score of 24-21, you guys. And heading over to San Francisco and Philadelphia. Now this one I could see a big upset happening. Obviously, San Francisco allowed the Lions to kind of crawl back into the game last week. Obviously, it wasn't very close until the very end there, but still, nonetheless, they kind of took their foot off the gas and allowed them to crawl back in. I don't think you're going to be able to do that with Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to be coming out flying right out of the gates. They had a really nice performance against Atlanta, absolutely dominated Atlanta last week in Week 1. I think they surprised a lot of people there. And I think they're going to surprise some more people this week and be able to take this game by a score of 24-21, upsetting the San Francisco 49ers. And then heading over to the Saints versus the Panthers, you guys. I think the Saints are going to continue on with their winning streak here. Obviously, they dusted up my Packers in Week 1 by a score of 38-3. Panthers were able to hang on for a victory as well in Week 1. Someone's got to lose this game. I think it will be the Panthers. I think the defensive line and the offensive line of the Saints is just going to be too much for the Panthers to overcome. Just like they bully balled my Packers, I think they're going to be able to bully ball the Panthers a little bit here. Although I do think this will be a lot closer game, just because I think that the Panthers are going to be a little more hungry than the Packers were last week. So I see the final score being 21-17 for the Saints. And then heading over to the Rams versus the Colts, you guys. Now, I think this is going to end up being quite a good game here, but I do think the Rams are going to be able to hang on for a 2-0 start to the season. It's going to be a rough start for the Colts here, but obviously dealing with some of those injuries. Carson Wentz coming off his foot surgery, still not at 100%, even though he is playing. I expect him to bounce back a little bit, but it's just not going to be enough to be able to beat the Rams and that stout defense that they have. So I expect the Rams to be able to hold on and take this one by a score of 28-24 over the Colts. And then the Raiders versus the Steelers, you guys. I think the Steelers are going to put a whooping on the Raiders here. Unfortunately, the Raiders have dealt with a bunch of injuries in that game against the Baltimore Ravens there. Yannick Ngakoue is a game-time decision. He's questionable to play. I believe Gerald McCoy's on IR now, may be done for the season with a bad injury. Josh Jacobs, their star running back, is out with a toe injury. So it's going to be a bit of a rough one for the Raiders, I think, especially against that defensive front of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be very tough to run the ball. Derek Carr is going to be under a lot of pressure, I believe, this Sunday here. So I see the Steelers being able to win this one pretty handily. I think they're going to take it by a score of 31-21 over the Raiders. And then heading over to the Patriots versus the Jets, you guys. I think Mac Jones is going to get his first career win as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I just don't think the Jets have enough pieces around Zach Wilson to be able to get the job done here in week 2. And we all know how Bill Belichick usually has his team performing against rookie quarterbacks. So I expect it to be a bit of a rough go for the Jets. I don't think it'll be too far off score-wise, you guys. I think the Patriots will end up winning about 27-21. I think we'll see a couple nice little magic plays from Zach Wilson to keep the game a little bit close. But at the end of the day, it's just not going to be enough to overcome the stout defense and the offensive control that I believe the Patriots will have by being able to run the ball consistently on this Jets defense. So I got Patriots winning 27-21. Then heading over Minnesota versus Arizona. Vikings fans are not going to like the start to their season, you guys. I see them going 0-2, no doubt here. I don't know how they're going to be able to hold up against that pass rush of the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, Chandler Jones in week 1 with his 5-sack performance was just an absolute wrecking ball out there on the field. I don't see the Vikings having an answer for him at all. I mean, Kirk Cousins was under quite a bit of pressure just playing against the Cincinnati Bengals last week, and they definitely have a better defensive line than the Bengals, the Cardinals do. So I expect Kirk Cousins and that offense to be under a lot of pressure in week 2 here. I do not think they're going to be able to get a lot of things going down the field. And I think Arizona's just going to be able to dominate that time of possession. Probably get a couple turnovers on Kirk Cousins as well. I see that final score being 30-17 for the Cardinals and then moving to 2-0 on the season. And then Atlanta versus Tampa Bay, you guys. Now this one's going to be a joke of a game, to be honest with you. I mean, I think Atlanta's probably, at least from what I've seen in that week 1 performance, which was an absolutely atrocious performance on both sides of the ball for Atlanta. I could see them being the worst team in the league this year, you guys. I know a lot of people thought it was going to be the Texans, maybe Jacksonville, teams like that, maybe the Jets. But at the end of the day, I think Atlanta has a chance to possibly go 0-17. I mean, they looked awful, absolutely awful against Philadelphia. They made Philly look like a playoff team in week 1. Obviously, Tampa Bay, the reigning Super Bowl champions, Tom Brady at the helm. He's probably still got that bad taste in his mouth from going down 28-3, even though Brady did end up coming back and winning that game. Still doesn't like going down like that. I expect him to absolutely blow out Atlanta here in week 2. I think the final score between that game will be 35-10 for the Bucs. I think they're going to beat them quite handily, obviously, just because they got the better overall team. So 35-10 for the Bucs in that game, you guys. Heading over to Cowboys versus Chargers. Now this one's going to be a very close one again, just like the week 1 matchup between the Cowboys and the Bucs was. Obviously some bad injury news for the Cowboys. They lost one of their star pass rushers this week to a broken foot. So that's very unfortunate for them. I expect them to probably keep this one close. I think their defense just is not going to be able to hold up with one of their big-time pass rushers out there. So I can see the Chargers being able to hang on there. Obviously, they got a revamped offensive line this year. Corey Linsley at center, Brian Bulaga at the tackle. They drafted a good offensive lineman in the first round as well. Justin Herbert's looking unreal. Dak Prescott looked really good as well in his performance against the Bucs. So there could be a swing here, and they could end up pulling it out. But I'm going to stick with the Chargers here, you guys. I'm going to take them at a score of 30-27 for the LA Chargers. I think they're going to just be able to beat out the Cowboys there for their victory. And then heading over to the Titans and Seahawks, wrapping up the last of the afternoon games here, you guys. I expect this one to be a high-scoring affair, especially after the Titans getting, not too many points last week. They had a rough go against Arizona, just got absolutely beat down by the Cardinals. So I expect their offense to have a bit of a bounce back game here. But I don't think that defense is going to be able to hold up against the offense of the Seattle Seahawks. That connection between Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett is just too good in my opinion. And then you had DK Metcalf out on the outside there. That secondary isn't the super strong for the Tennessee Titans, so I think they're going to be able to carve them up pretty good. And same thing for the Seahawks. They don't have a super strong secondary either. So that's why I think this will be a high-scoring game, and I see the Seahawks taking this one by a score of 35-28. And then heading over to Sunday Night Football, you guys, this is going to be a phenomenal game. We got the Chiefs versus the Ravens here. Very unfortunate where the Ravens are with their injury problems so far to start the season. Missing so many running backs, having to bring in a bunch of new guys. Marcus Peters goes down with an injury as well. He's done for the year. So it's just, they've been absolutely marred by injury. No fault of their own. There's not much you can do about that. Is in their cards, and that's kind of how things unfolded for them. It's very unfortunate. You'd like to see Lamar Jackson try and have a little bit of a bounce back game after turning the ball over twice to end the game there, obviously costing them the game with that fumble in overtime. I just don't think they're going to have enough firepower to be able to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. I do think they'll keep it somewhat close. They'll be able to put some points on the board, but at the end of the day, I think the Chiefs are going to pull away at the end of the game here and be able to go move to 2-0 on the season. I think that final score is going to be 35-24 for the Chiefs, you guys. And then the final game of the week here, heading over to Monday Night Football. We got the Lions versus my Packers in Lambeau Field, you guys. Now, I think we're going to get a good bounce back game from the Packers on offense here. I don't see the defensive side of the ball having a bounce back game for the Pack. I think the Lions are going to be able to move the ball on us, no problem. Obviously, we just found out this week Zadarius Smith just went on to injured reserve for the next few weeks with a back injury, so he's obviously our star pass rusher. He's going to be out now, so we're going to need a huge game from Rashawn Gary to step up. Preston Smith's going to need to step up. I really hope they don't have Kevin King playing as much. We need to get Eric Stokes in there for some more snaps. He's just got way more speed, top-end speed, and it seems he's got more of that dog in him. He just seems like he's more hungry to be out there and win his one-on-one matchups out on the field. He had one real good pass breakup last week. The only pass breakup we had against the Saints was from Eric Stokes, our rookie. So at the end of the day, I think the Packers are going to have enough to be able to hang on for the victory here. But with that grit and grime kind of style of game that the Lions are going to be playing, I think it's going to be very close. I like Dan Campbell as their coach. You can already tell they're taking on the identity of that never give up, continue to fight right till the end of the game, as you could tell from their week 1 performance against San Francisco. So I think the Packers will be able to hang on for the victory, but I do think the Lions are going to make it a great game. So I see that final score being 31-28 for the Packers, you guys. And that rounds out the list of games for this week. Obviously, Thursday Night Football already happened. What an upset by the Washington football team. A terrible penalty late, you guys, on that final field goal to seal the deal. They missed the first one. They jump off sides, the Giants did, and then Washington gets an extra kick from 5 yards closer and able to bang it through for the victory. So tough start for the Giants once again. I believe this is their 8th season out of the last 9 seasons that they start 0-2. Never made the playoffs in any of those years. So it's going to be a rough go for them, you guys. But anyways, yeah, that's my list for the week, you guys. My game picks. Would love to get your guys' opinion in the comments section down below on your guys' game picks for the week. Who do you think is going to be taking home the dubs this week? Who do you think is going to maybe have some upsets? Would love to get your guys' opinion in the comments section down below. Once again, you guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and every video on my channel. Please go ahead and like this video if you so choose. Subscribe to the channel if you so choose. And this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports Channel.